Alrighty. Hello. Here to recommend some music as usual. Um, alright. At the top of the video, I'm actually going to bring up Diamond Jubilee by Cindy Lee because I feel like I'm going to forget about it because it's only on Bandcamp and YouTube. So I feel like I'm going to forget about it if I look through Spotify. But this album has gotten a lot of traction on the internet and also just, from a lot of like music publications. And I heard about it when Fantano first made a video on it. The album cover was in my mind for a long time, but I never actually got around to it until probably I want to say a few weeks ago. And it's freaking awesome. It's 2 hours long. It's very it's low fidelity rock type beat. I don't know how to accurately describe it, but it feels like a band that I used to listen to called Whitney, with some more lo-fi and crunchy sometimes guitars. Just a really cool experience. I feel like I've I think first and foremost I've never seen a rollout like this, so this is my first time kind of finding something that's not just on every single streaming platform. So I really want to give it a go and really see what it was like. It's 2 hours long, so it is a bit of a trek to get through, but by no means do you have to listen to it all at once. And yeah, I would just highly recommend you listen to it. I want to say my favorite track off of it, it's actually a few, but let's say All I Want Is You, and let's say Don't Tell Me I'm Wrong. But off of both discs, I picked one, so there we are. And then next up, another one that I found on Bandcamp while I was looking at Diamond Jubilee, but is nowhere near related. It's called Unleashed by Heavy. And you spell Heavy, Heavee. So this was just suggested to me by Bandcamp, and Heavy is a footwork, dance DJ producer from Chicago. And I guess has grown up in that scene. That's at least what I'm reading. Yeah, and this album is, I guess, dance, or the subgenre of footwork. But I think it's just a really cool, electronic album. It's such a niche pick, but I think if you're into, I guess, any electronic music, I would just recommend having a go at it, because, yeah, I think it's just a solid project. Now, if I head to my Spotify, I'm actually going to start with Fishmans. I don't know how to pronounce this album, but it's the one with Baby Blue, Slow Days, Sunny Blue, Nice Choice on it. And the three people in the sky walking. I've known about this album for a long time. Shout out Jared. I feel like I never really got around to listening to the whole thing until just a few weeks back, and I like it. I think in a previous video I talked about how a lot of these, whether they'd be Korean or Japanese, indie rock bands, I always kind of recognize their sounds, but they don't stick with me. And so with Fishmans, I'm gonna also put in there Toe and Lamp. I thought what I listened to from Toe was actually really cool. There was, I think how I would describe it is a little bit math rocky. Correct me on that if I'm wrong, because I actually don't really know the definitions of different types of rock. I just like rock. But yeah, Toe is one band that I have to kind of dip my toe into a little bit more to really understand them. And then Lamp. They're a bit more low-key. I guess closer to Fishmans in that regard. And Midair Thief, which I talked about in another video. I really like their album. I've only done one listen. And it's the Flower album, the Red Flower. I've only done one listen, but I want to do another one because it seems like I liked essentially the entire thing. So if I listen again, maybe the sounds will stick with me. And I hope they do, because I want to be more familiar with that scene. Oh my god, I'm losing my voice. Next up is a suggestion from my work friend, Ewan. So shout out, Ewan. Rice field silently ripping in the night. I always think that's saying rippling because that makes more sense in the context of this album. But this album is so beautiful and relaxing. How I first described it was literally sounds like a live performance in the sense that I feel like a lot of recordings that are for maybe a more ambient genre feel contrived. That might be the right word. Or just like made in, I guess, a very typical music fashion. Like you get in the studio and you make your music as you do. But for some reason, this album doesn't feel like that to me. Literally feels like I'm coming across like some people busking, and there's just a beautiful singer in there as well. I do need to do another listen to that, but I like that very much. If you're looking for something low-key, go for that. Favorite track off of that, I think, would be Lily or Kaihatsu-san. Yeah. Moving on. SOS Deluxe, Lana. Talking of more big releases. SZA. Insane to release like 14 tracks 2 years later on a deluxe. Like, that's crazy. I liked it. It was more SZA. Can't say I'm like super blown away or anything, but I like it. I think it's freaking sick. I liked 30 for 30. Yes, I'm a Kendrick shill. And let's say Crybaby. I like those. And then for the final one of this vid, I'm going to say, for the final album, I'm going to talk about the Ezra Collective. Now, I heard about these guys when Melbourne International Jazz Festival was happening. And I think it was them or Steam Down that I wanted to see. I can't really remember. But I remember that they were in my wheelhouse. And then I saw a dude on Instagram that I follow called, I think it's Somewhere Soul. He does like a lot of jazz and soul recommendations. And he reminded me that I had it on my to listen list because he had it on his like end of year list, like one of his favorite albums or whatever. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. I'll just go listen to that now. And that one's called Dance No One's Watching. And I thought it was great. Great jazz album. Funky. It's energetic. Yeah. I really like it. I also love that Olivia Dean is featuring on it. The fact that I just recently discovered her and then she's appearing on like a jazz project that I also really enjoy. That's kind of sick. And yeah, I would say that's the end of this video. Might do one more music recommendation video before I then do like a video about the music that I loved this year, where I might do in like albums or maybe just artists that I really liked this year. Probably won't talk about all the ones I liked this year, maybe just the ones I feel compelled to actually talk about. But yeah, have a good morning, day, evening, night, whatever it may be, and I'll catch you on the next one.